I accidentally shrunk myself to the size of a man, and now I have to survive the next 24 hours in this backyard with insects the size of giants, plant life that is bigger than the average NBA player. I have 24 hours to gather materials, make a massive base, defeat some of the mega bosses spread out across the map, and try to find a way to get back to my normal height. As of making this narration script, my voice is pretty sick, so just bear with me for now. After picking my character, I started by watching old 90s cartoons. This one is called Yoked Girth, and I did not make it up. But the news showed up, and apparently we are missing. Waking up in a briefcase, I started the timer and started going around taking everything and finding a small tent. Identifying my loot, I made a spear and moving to the first major location, activating the machine. 3 massive lasers activated. Crafting an axe and a hammer, I broke the grass, blocking the way of the laser. Went to the 3rd laser and killed the lawn mites, damaging the wire and Ooh, parry. Returning to the machine, I activated it. Lasering the machine, it caused a massive explosion by the oak tree. Heading there, I collected acorns, sap, and saw one of the biggest threats in the game, the wolf spider. Finding the explosion site, I entered the lab, find my best robot buddy, Burgle, and it turns out the big explosion I made caused Burgle to lose his memory. He told me about the ox chips, which can be used to find new recipes, and the super chips, capable of having info to fix the spacer and get me back to normal, giving me access to bioscanners and the location of the next lab in the hedge. The hedge is a massive area filled with giant spiders, which can pin you with webbing. I headed home on my way and got jumped by a spider, giving me a small heart attack, which, resulted in death. I'm dead. No! Oh my... After collecting my stuff, I returned home, avoiding the adult spider. I started working on my base. Oh, I can... On the next day, I went to Burgle and got some quests which I would completely forget about. Going behind the oak tree, I collected some algae. Got wolf spider PTSD when I saw a spider underwater. Returning home, I crafted ant legs and made a plan to find the hedge lab. On the way, I unlocked the mutations and didn't even realize I could activate them, so for the next few hours, I was running with no special powers. I found a voice log from the doctor which revealed that the disc hit his lab, causing all the spiders to wander in. Finding another lab, I activated the survey scanner, a single-handedly the most important device that would affect every tent in the map, allowing me to find any item near the lab tents around the map. Okay. Okay. Oh. Whoa. Progressing further, I found the flyman disc that hit the lab. After a long fight with baby spiders, I made it to the hedge lab. Exploring the hedge lab, the doors were sealed with webbing and spiders infested the halls. After wandering and finding clues to open the door, I finally figured out I needed the paper pieces that were scattered around the hedge lab before dropping down and dying to dehydration, inches from a small puddle. What the? Collecting my stuff and returning to the lab, I collected all the code pieces and claimed both the super chip and the duper disc. Returning to Burgle, I used the duper disc and completely forgot to give Burgle the super chip. Returning home, I began working on my 2nd floor and had a super close call with a wolf spider, walking around my base. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the last time I meet a wolf spider. One paranoid night later, and I re-challenged ants to a fight, this time coming out victorious before angering a ladybug and getting a swift dose of karma. Busting. I am sorry, little one. Okay, never mind. Using the red ant parts, I finished my red ant armor and got the human bonus, allowing me to enter the anthill without being executed on sight. Collecting marble and granite allowed me to finally upgrade my gear and weapons. Getting that home, I made whetstones and armor plating, used them on my gear. I re-entered the anthill and found the ant queen. This is more of a moral choice, as later I would attain the recipe that would give me an ultimatum with 3 different ant queens spread out across the map. And the red ant queen, the black ant queen, and the fire ant queen. Finally returning to Burgle with the super chip. I know a bunch of you will question why I didn't do it earlier in the comments. Burgle gave me the general locations of the other 3 labs, and the lab at the bottom of the pond, the lab at the chemical haze zone, and the lab guarded by the black ants. Obtaining the super chip also added a new bunch of stuff to Simon's shop. Re-challenging the ladybug, I played more defensively, finally killing the ladybug and getting the ladybug parts. Yes! Let's go! Researching the parts, I unlocked ladybug armor and repair glue that is reserved for more endgame content. Finishing that and a bit of cooking, I started getting lost as I knew not where to go for progression. Discovering infected larvae, I ran away as fast as I could, still without a goal for progression. I went to the lamp next to the oak tree to kill gnats during the night. I crafted a larva blade using grubby materials I got earlier and skipped the night. Unfortunately, it caused the cutscene to play where I was strapped to a table in a lab that I have never seen, shot by the spacer while a bunch of scientists were watching me.
So small.
Going back into the anthill, I found a burgle chip and a piece of bee armor that was rotten. Returning to burgle with the chip, I unlocked new shop items like a fiber bandage upgrade to make it cheaper, a canteen upgrade for water. I ended up buying the bandage upgrade, and on my way home, I had my first run-in with the stink bug. This guy is an absolute menace, being able to make an AoE toxic cloud that can only be repelled by wearing a gas mask, but you need the stink bug parts for the gas mask. Exploring around still, unsure of progression, I went back to the hedge and I ran into a mosquito which proceeded to impale me, killing me instantly and making me drop all my loot. I was now around 1/4 into the challenge and pretty tired, dying because of the lack of progression. I found bomb beetles and, being the curious floof I am, I bought it. Yes, let's go! And actually won, getting a boiling gland. Returning to the infected larva, I progressed further, unknowingly stepping into one of the most dangerous areas in the game because of the gas, the haze zone. With my current goal clear, I aim to try and attain the gas mask so I can enter the haze zone. Wandering around, I challenge a baby spider, pissing off the mama spider and forcing me to fight it. Eventually, I managed to kill it, getting a slight confidence boost having killed my first giant spider. On my way to the hedge to reclaim my loot, I found needles, which finally gives me the ability to craft arrows. After collecting all the needles from the plant, I met a couple of the fleas that live in the puddle before killing them for their meat. Arriving home, I crafted a new bow and an accessory called the Nifty Needle, making my bow more powerful by fully charging the bow. Looking for mites, I ran into the stink bug again. This time with my bow, I tried to bring him down for the gas mask. Realizing my bow wasn't actually a good idea, I ran into a bomb beetle. I was going to retreat, but then this bomb beetle, like an angel from God, started fighting the stink bug and put in work. With their bomb beetle dead, I rushed in and killed the stink bug, and now on low health, I finally obtained the part needed for the gas mask. On the way back, I found a feather from the local crow, collecting a piece and identifying it, and unlocked a bunch of stuff, but more importantly, it unlocked the next bow up. There was still about 16 hours left in the challenge, and it was at this point I realized I never actually activated any mutations. Finally activating some and questioning why I basically spent 8 hours running around without mutations in the first place. Crossing the haze field, I found the lab door and ended up killing infected mites, got fungal parts, and giving me the items needed to make the bomb. All of them except for the red ant egg. Going back into the anthill to find ant eggs, I ran into a giant spider that pinned me with only its red eyes being generally visible. I collected the ant egg from the aftermath, and after returning home, I created a bomb. I ran as fast as I can to get back to the haze lab, and progressing further, I found another tape. Turns out the infection was all because of the doctor. He was trying to reverse aging using gene splicing from the mushroom, which eventually resulted in exploding mushrooms that infected the area. Running through the mushroom overrun room, I flipped a switch and ran all the way back to the other door and met face to face with the eyes of an infected ladybug mini-boss. I killed the infected ladybug and opened the door. Inside was a super chip, another duper disc, and on my way to hedge to collect berries for ladybug armor, I found a hole under a stone brick, and again, being the curious floof I am, I went in, killing a couple baby spiders before having a near heart attack with the wolf spider jumping at me from the hole. Okay, well, Finally arriving at the hedge, I collected berry chunks, turning them into berry leather and making the ladybug helmet. Tired of the jump scares from the giant spiders, I went back to building and started building a huge tower to see the map from.
Hell's happening.
Having descended the tower, I left to get petals to make the rest of the ladybug armor. Crossing the pond, I collected petals from the plants near the wall, being careful not to anger the fireflies. Waking up the next morning, I made a plan to take out the giant wolf spiders so I could obtain the spider fangs from them. Being careful, I used my bow to piss one of them off, but even now, I still was unprepared to deal with their venom.
Only one of them's actually trying to kill me.
It poisoned! Don't think my go-to spider elimination strategy is gonna be much use on that.
Jumping into the water to get away from them. Going to Burgle, I ran into a wolf spider guarding the entrance and I ran inside the lab. Using the duper disc from the Haze lab to upgrade the duper machine, I gave Burgle the super chip from the Haze lab, giving Burgle more of his memory back. And it turns out the machine doesn't have enough fuel to embiggening chip, which is required to get back to normal. Only 2 super chips left to find to make the recipe for the embiggening cell. I made it my goal to get both the Pollen lab and the Black Ant lab. With the Haze chip, I unlocked new items, and one of those being a juicy mushroom sandwich. Buying that and the canteen upgrade as well as the scab bee upgrade. Going to the door, I finally saw the giant wolf spider stuck in the door. I realized I could hit him, but he could not hit me. Somehow, in some way, I broke the game and took down the wolf spider without any effort.
Guess this could probably work. So like, kind of works. This kind of works.
Absolutely amazing. Killing the wolf spider, I got a mutation which can resist poison, which will be very useful for next time. Going back into the lab, I duplicated the fangs and left, returning home having killed a wolf spider for the first time and crafted the aphid slippers, making travel much easier overall. Sleeping through the night, I got another memory, still changed the table, only much smaller. The scientists were telling their team to shrink 3 more people and revealing a plan of theirs called Project Orc.
To crash your party, the Defense Department has arrived early to discuss Project Orc.
Returning to Burgle, I bought the advanced production buildings and started construction of the oven to make the ant queen food. Going up my tower to locate the burning coals, I heard a war horn and realized the raid has begun. I wandered around until I found the enemy being just one larva. That was the whole raid. Going up the tower, I looked and eventually found the grill, which I missed several times while searching. Having my next objective cleared, I traveled to a cracked wall, which I proceeded to blow up.
Drop this right here. And go.
Arriving to the grill, I tried to go near one of the coals, but I immediately suffered the sizzling effect, which is an effect that will burn you up very quickly. Exploring more, I found a mixer, and these are very important, which will be able to summon bugs to fight. We won't do any of them within 24 hours, that'll be for next time. On the way home, I pick a fight with a mosquito, and finally killing them, obtaining their beak.
Yes! And get parried. Big ol' dancing spider. Yes! Let's go, that parry.
Yes, let's go! Killing another one, I got home and identified them, and unlocked a new melee called the Mosquito Needle. Crafting it, I got a rapier that has a life-stealing effect. Upgrading the new weapon, I went to the pond aiming for the materials for the gill tube and the fins. Finding the wax on the other side of the lily pads, I had my first interaction with the koi fish. And the koi fish is considered a mega boss in this game. Trying to avoid the underwater spider, I had to fight one in the water and managing to kill the spider.
I'm the one that I could swim too. Bring it on, tough guy.
Diving back down, I went and collected eelgrass for the gill tube, but pissing off more underwater spiders, I decided to blow off steam as they kept coming, started committing mass genocide against every spider in the pond that dared to go near me when I was trying to harvest the eelgrass. Having collected the necessary materials, I returned home and I crafted the gill tube and returned to the pond, only to be greeted by more spiders.
That deals with you. Okay.
I found the lab, but it wasn't the entrance. While spending a lot of time, I searched, I fought spider after spider, killing them all while handicapped with nothing but a stone dagger, ultimately dying to a sneak attack from a spider. Returning to the pond, I found a hole and followed all the turbines, finding the lab. I found a voice from the doctor. In short, Doc experimented on Brussels sprouts as they were often rejected when presented as a meal. Finding out breakers are offline, I went out and turned on all 3 breakers to get further into the lab. Yes. Getting deeper, I found a terminal that opens the path to the biodome. Returning to the big room, I got swarmed by security bots.
Boom.
Finding the biodome, I grabbed the super chip and the duper disc before opening the dome up.
Reboot this. Whoa! Oh, that's so cool!
Entering the other lab that is now opened by the door, I need a key card which I don't have yet. Returning to Burgle with the super chip from the pond lab and giving him the chip, I got part of the cell recipe. Checking the shop, I unlocked new water-based building tech in the shop, which I completely ignored. Climbing my tower, I observed the land so I can make a plan to get to the sandbox. Going to sleep, I had another memory from being experimented on, and I found out the name of a director called Director Schmechter in charge of the project, and I be ordered I be terminated as I am no longer useful.
Too bad for you, little ones. Prepare the specimens for termination.
This isn't what I signed up for.
After that dream, I wandered around the sandbox finding black ants and started fighting them so I can get their parts for black ant armor. Unfortunately, it does not give you immunity to black ants like red ants, but I didn't notice at the time.
I'm really gonna hate this. Ooh, get parried. Yeah.
After that, I went around seeing no way in, and I did what any sane person would do to get past the problem in this game, and that is building.
Easier since I don't know where I have to do everything else.
Building all the way into the sandbox, I already pissed off one of their bugs, not expecting them to have new tactics.
Parried. Parried. Yeah! I am dead.
After the sandbox fight, I decided I wanted to get to a picnic table before angering a bee and killing it for the fuzz.
Oh. Hi there, Bumblebee. Yeah!
With the new armor acquired, I played the floor is lava, trying quickly to get the coal from the grill.
Being cooked. I can't take this heat.
And
I went out for a bit, and the wolf spider jumps me, resulting in me dying again.
no, I'm stuck. What the?
But after that, having finished the oven, I now have the chance to create both the mushroom sandwich and the poisoned mushroom sandwich. I decided I wanted to befriend the queen instead of murdering them, so acquiring the sandwich, I gave it to the ant queen, and she was so happy she responded by giving me a baby ant pet.
Yes, I offer you special item. Yay! Baby red ant. New pet. New pet!
Going to the black ant lab, I stumbled into an unholy ritual where the black ants were undertaking with a single piece of grass. Continuing further, I entered the black ant hill and found the lab. I found a wall needing a bomb, only to get absolutely clowned by the game.
Extra bomb. Well, that was a waste.
Wasting my only bomb, only after seeing a rock blocking the lab entrance, which means I had to go back home and make a new bomb. After returning with a bomb, destroying the block entrance, I lifted Gate A lockdown, which allowed me to enter Gate A. After that, I lifted the Gate B lockdown. Entering Gate B, I found a suspicious red button, exploded the glass, it triggered an alarm. Furious as I am, I pressed the button on the screen, and it started the boss battle against the assistant manager.
Terminate the assistant manager? It's an actual boss fight! Oh my god!
This is my first time I fought an actual boss. With every chip at his health, I activated his boss quirk, being able to activate the traps on the battlefield.
Whoa! Oh no! Holy crap!
Trying to stay alive, I hid in the corner, but the boss thought ahead and turned on his second set of traps, which is the Tesla towers, resulting in my death. Going back, I got him lower, but I still died. Third time, I wasn't determined to lose, so I fought him again with every last medicine I created.
Come on, final shot! Yeah!
Finally, with all the fighting coming to a close, I have killed the assistant manager, both succeeding in killing my first mega boss and unlocking a new mutation to harness electricity. I opened the door and finally claimed the super chip and the black ant lab, finally completing the fourth and final lab. Going back into the sandbox to find the burgle chip, I opened the door with the keycard and yoinked the burgle chip. I found another tent, and going in, I expected nothing special, but turning around, I met face to face with the giant wolf spider again.
Let's see what's around here.
After that mini heart attack, I returned the burgle and gave him the ox chip, unlocking new stuff in the science store, one of them being the most important, the snack of the Black Ant Queen, the gum sandwich, which is required to tame the Black Ant Queen. Giving Burgle the super chip, I finally got one of the final ingredients, which was revealed to be...
Of course! Toenails!
Yeah, after holding back a gag, Burgle told me about the final ingredient is so secret, only the doctor himself knows what it is. Not even Burgle was trusted enough to keep it with him, giving me a hint about where he might be. Returning home, I went to bed, sleeping through the night, and triggered another memory, only this time I was in the briefcase I started in, being saved from termination from the director.
Or whatever they might run into down there.
Oh.
You do realize the director will have our heads if he finds out we're removing company property?
I'll make the delivery to his yard discreetly. No one is even going to know.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Gathering the gum from the picnic table, I started cooking the black ant treat before going to bed. Skipping the night, I claimed the black ant treat, blitzed past all the ants to find the ant queen, and after a bit, I found the black ant queen, and without hesitation, I fed her the treat, gaining the favor of the black ants and a new baby ant, which I didn't realize that getting a new ant abandons the previous one.
Baby black ant?
With only 2.5 hours left, I made a plan to get to the doctor near his shed, and after some mild sizzling, getting past the grill, not finding a way up, and being the smooth-brained person I am, I did what any normal person would do and built a staircase up.
At the same time, because of, well...
I only got 2... Getting closer to the shed, I ran into a ladybird, which is the superior version of the ladybug, which is more aggressive than them.
Ooh, get parried! Yeah!
Exploring around, I accidentally found a secret lab under the shed I couldn't access. Continuing further, I had my first run-in with the fire ants. I finally reached his scabby, but I was sad to realize I need a tier 3 hammer, which I only had tier 2. Scavenging the failed mission, I explored around and entered the garden hose and found a spot that may or may not be the location of a mega boss battle, needing a mantis kebab. Continuing to explore near the shed, I saw a hole in the log and entering it thinking it was the fire ants, but I was surprised to see it get attacked and nearly died to termites. Returning home to upgrade my gear more, I was adding apples to my inventory, and almost like a cartoon, a bunch of upgrades spawned out of nowhere.
What?
Using them, I upgraded my axe and my armor. With 1 hour left to go on the 24-hour challenge, I was trying to figure out where to go from this point. I went to the pond, aiming to find the pawn ship using the keycard on the door I saw earlier. Entering the door, I found a unique charm with unique effects.
Left elf charm. Invincible shielding.
Hitting the button like I always do, I opened the door in a location I didn't know. Spending more time searching for it, I found a secret lab under the statue in the pond. Unfortunately, it was not the lab that had the pond chip, and with that search also being a failure, I returned home with only 8 minutes on the challenge, so I wanted to clean up my neglected outdoor space. I have been ignoring this for a long time ever since I started this challenge. Picking up the trash on the ground and getting rid of it, I climbed my massive stair tower to take in the view one last time before the 24 hours were up. Looking down from my tower, I remembered everything I went to, being the giant wolf spiders that tormented me, and the giant mega bosses, and everything that I went through. And when that was done, the challenge was over. This challenge was a lot more difficult than I expected. Unfortunately, because of the amount of time and lack of experience, I did have to cut a big chunk of the stuff I wanted to share from this video, like milk molars and all that. I do have another video that won't be on the time crunch right here, where I fight all of the different mega bosses if you want to see that. I'll see you all in the next one.